Podcast.
When I was working with bands, it was very common to hear somebody that, let's say they were on a club tour or a theater tour, and they wanted to play arenas, they wanted to play stadiums, and they would say, oh, I will do this when I play arenas, or I'll do this when I play stadiums, or if I were playing Madison Square Garden, then I would give this kind of show. And that's the wrong way to do it. You say, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, I don't know. But what I do know is that if you're a podcaster or if you're a band, you've got to show up for every single episode, every single gig that you do, as if it were a big episode, a big podcast, a big venue. Something to think about. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into the subject on this episode. It's Build a Big Podcast, the marketing podcast for podcasters. If you want to grow your podcast, get more people to your podcast, make more people care about your podcast, make more money with your podcast, spread a message, have a podcast that people care about, have a podcast that people miss if you disappear. This is the podcast for you. BigPodcast.com is the website. This episode, the audio edition of my weekly newsletter that is called Big Podcast Insider, you will find it at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. I've got links to the things that I'm talking about. I've got more information about the things that I'm talking about at that site, newsletter.bigpodcast.com. What am I talking about? This, the secret to being a top podcaster. 20 lessons for digital media. That's you, podcaster. Race to the bottom. How to validate a podcast idea. I've got 7 things that you need. Also, relationship advice, part 3. Yeah, it's March, but I'm wrapping up Valentine's month. This episode of Build a Big Podcast is brought to you by Riverside.fm, a virtual studio that makes recording and editing at the highest quality possible accessible to anyone. Almost everybody at this point in time has used Word or Google Docs to edit a text document. Riverside.fm, they've got something very similar to that, but for audio. You edit your audio files using a transcript, so it's just like editing text. You're going to speed up your post-production process. It is as easy as editing a transcript. But you might be thinking, hey, I don't have a transcript. Yeah, you do with Riverside. Instant transcripts via AI with 99% accuracy. Better than me doing it for you. Your podcast recordings will be automatically transcribed and captioned in seconds with their AI-powered technology. It is accurate, reliable, and supports more than 100 languages. You're going to look and sound like you're in the same room. Everything you need to record your podcast, edit your podcast, and also market it. Once you check it out for free, here's how to do it. Go to riverside.fm. They're going to give you a couple hours to look under the hood. That's enough for an episode, maybe 2 episodes. You're going to use all the tools that I'm talking about, the transcription, what they call AI magic clips. They're going to give you social media clips automatically from your long-form recording. You're going to love it. It's riverside.fm. Get the free account. If you want to stick around, this is the discount code. Big Podcast, BIGPODCAST. That's riverside.fm. The discount code gets you 15% off. Big Podcast, BIGPODCAST. All right, we got some things to talk about, all of them about podcasting. As I mentioned, if you want more information, you can find that at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 221. When I go from thing to thing to thing, each of them about podcasting, you're going to hear this sound. That's how you know I'm going to the next thing. You ready? The secret to being a top podcaster. Let's talk about AI for a minute. I know that this is scaring the bejesus out of people in the podcasting industry, editors, producers, hosts. It has affected us. I just talked about how it's affecting us. It's making editing easier for even somebody who is brand new to podcasting. Another example of that, short voiceovers. These are projects that help many beginners get their start in voiceover. Those are going to AI. Back to what I talked about a minute ago, automatic transcripts. That has killed off the work that many court reporters used to do as a side hustle. However, AI has given us a lot of options and a lot of new opportunities. Here's something you don't need to worry about with AI. It's not going to have that personal connection to the stories that it generates or the empathy to deliver them in a way that really connects with people. It doesn't have personal experiences. It has whatever it's gathered from the web or wherever AI gathers information. That is it. So what's in your head, unless you've written about it, unless AI has grabbed it, and unless AI somehow works that into whatever it is the AI is creating, that information will not be used. Here's the bottom line. Use AI for the tool that it is. And if you want to AI-proof your podcast, not let it take over, dive deeper into humanity and personal connection. That's it. Those 2 things. Dive deeper into humanity, dive deeper into personal connection. Get out and meet people, have conversations with them, help people tell their stories. You will never be taken over by AI. You want more thoughts on this? Newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 221. Real quick, I want to talk about Big Podcast AMP. That stands for Audio Monetization Program. It's a personal coaching program. It's you working with me, and I'm going to help you do 3 things. 1, grow your podcast audience. 2, get people talking about your podcast. 3, make more money with your podcast and also your podcasting skills. Get the details at bigpodcast.com/amp. That's bigpodcast.com/AMP. 20 lessons for digital media. All 20 lessons, they are linked at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 221. I'm going to go over 5 of them. This is getting into the AI proofing of your podcast. This is getting into the do it right now while you've got a smaller or medium-sized podcast. You'll be ready to continue this thing and expand on it when you've got a bigger podcast. The first thing, cultivate parasocial relationships. Building a strong connection with your listeners is crucial. Call her daddy. That is a connection between the host, Alex, and listeners. They feel like they are a part of the community. That's why merch is so big with podcasting. It is people who feel, 1, that they connect to the host, they know the host, and the host knows them, and also that they connect with each other. It is on-demand companionship. When you do this, you become that trusted voice, that friend that you call for advice. You become a constant presence in somebody's life, and you're able to help them. You want to make an impact with your podcast? This is how to do it. Cultivate parasocial relationships. That's number 1. Number 2, be multi-platform and multimedia. Do not limit yourself to just audio. I'm an audio-first guy. That is the core of my content. However, you want to get on YouTube? Do it. TikTok, do it. Social media, do it. If nothing else, you can put audio clips on these things. Podcasts are great, but you got to search them out. You want to go to people where they are. Now, that doesn't mean you've got to change your game. If you're an audio-first person, do it. Again, that's what I do. But we can take advantage of some of these other modalities. That is how to do it. Be multi-platform and multimedia. Number 3, adapt to new platforms. Keep an eye on emerging platforms and be ready to commit early. There are social media networks to fill the vacuum that has been left by Twitter, Blue Sky, for example, to fill the vacuum that has been left by TikTok. And you say, well, we still got TikTok. Yeah, kind of. We don't know what's going to happen to TikTok. If you're making money with TikTok, making a living on TikTok, just addicted to TikTok, maybe you need it for that reason. TikTok is not everywhere. It's not in India. Anyway, regardless of TikTok, new platforms are coming. I sign up for every single social media platform that comes across my desk. Am I going to use it? Probably not. Do I want my name reserved? Yes, I do. And that's a good reason for you to do it. Number 4, focus on direct audience relationships. Build and maintain direct connection with your audience through newsletters and also dedicated communities. I've got both of those for podcasters. You hear me talking about newsletter.bigpodcast.com? Yeah, obvious, right? That's the newsletter. And the community, part of Big Podcast AMP, the audio monetization program, it's not just coaching with me, but it's a community with other like-minded podcasters. Again, if you want more information about that, bigpodcast.com/AMP. You can do something similar for your audience. Number 5, define your unique voice and purpose. Clearly understand why you're podcasting and what makes your show unique. This clarity will help guide your content creation and ensure you're aligned with your audience's interests and expectations. I talked earlier about being an audio-first podcaster. Occasionally, I will talk about YouTube, but only if there are lessons from YouTube that apply to audio-first podcasting. I'm not telling you how to do a YouTube video. I'm not telling you how to do a 3-camera, 3-light shoot. I'm not talking about any of that stuff because that's not what I do. Once you know what you do, it makes those decisions very easy. You don't have to think, oh, well, my audience like this. No, your audience comes to you for a very specific thing. Find a lane, stick with it. That's 1 through 5. I got 20 of these. Lessons for digital media. This includes your podcast. You can find these at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 221. Race to the bottom. Remember Seth Godin? Some people don't even know who Seth Godin is. At one time, he was the man and still is. I mean, one of the biggest business books of all time, Purple Cow. Great books. I love the idea virus. He's got some good stuff. So if you're interested in marketing, definitely look at him if you don't know who I'm talking about. I can no longer assume that everybody knows what I'm talking about because that's just the way things are. People come, people go. Some people know, some people don't. Younger people have their own guru. Guys probably, 40 and over. Regardless, he's got something that made me think about a conversation I had with a friend of mine who's in the speaking business. We were talking about online booking sites. These are sites that promise to get you speaking gigs, but you also see these for podcasters. I was thinking about possibly getting on one. Why not? I do speaking gigs from time to time, thought I'd pick up some more. He said this. He said, the buyers who use those sites aren't looking to spend a lot of money. They're going there to get a bargain. So to get the gigs with the buyers on that platform, providers lower their prices. It's pretty much a race to the bottom. That's the quote. Does that sound familiar? That's what happens on similar sites that promise podcast interview opportunities. They operate in the same way. But instead of low-cost jobs, it's low-quality podcast. If you are looking to be a better guest, a better interviewee, there is real value for you doing any interview that you can. Say yes. If the host isn't that great, great. You learn how to take control of an interview. You learn how to work with a host who doesn't know how to ask questions or who pre-plans the questions, question 1, question 2, question 3, and they don't connect to anything that you're saying. You learn how to deal with somebody who isn't really together when it comes to scheduling or equipment. So there's value. And if you've got an interview and it doesn't go well for you, nobody's listening to these podcasts. Great. You don't want everybody to hear a bad interview. Those are 3 ways to make these sites work for you. However, if you're looking for great guests, probably not. If you are a great guest, no, probably not. Great guests don't post personal ads because they don't have to post personal ads. People come to them. Back to Seth Godin. He's got something he calls the race to the top. It flips this on its head. Interested? I've got the link, newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 221. Validate a podcast idea. Will your new podcast work? Even if you're an old podcaster, you've been around the block a few times, you know what you're doing, this is still a good idea if you've got a new idea for a podcast. It's basically a path to validating a business idea, and I've got more details at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. But let me give you the 7 things that you need to go through for any new idea, whether it's a podcast idea or a business idea. Your podcast, when you think about it, it's a business. You're trying to grow an audience. You're trying to get attention. You're making a product, in this case, your episodes, that you want people to consume. This is what you need. 1, a why. Why are you doing it? 2, a problem. Why are people coming to you? In the case of this podcast, you want more people to your podcast. You want to make more money. You want to make more impact. What problem does your audience have? Maybe the problem is they're bored on a ride to work and they need to be entertained. That's a legitimate problem. 3rd thing, a solution. What am I talking about? How to grow your audience, how to get more people to care about your message, how to make money with your message. What are you doing? Making people laugh, making that commute to work seem shorter. The 4th thing, a customer. And that's basically, is there somebody who wants what you've got? Sometimes podcasters will say, well, I'm for everybody, 8 to 88. Everybody's going to love my podcast. No. Not everybody. Even the biggest entertainment properties in the world, not everybody likes it. Harry Potter. Some people love it. Some people think it's witchcraft. Star Wars. No. Star Trek is better. Michael Jackson Thriller. The top-selling album ever. Some people hate it. You are not for everybody. You want a very specific customer. And the 5th thing, knowledge about this customer. Where does that customer hang out? How are you going to be able to reach that person? What keeps that person up at night? What is the problem that you can solve? You need to know what the problem is, how you can solve it, and how to talk to people. You're a podcaster. So when I say something like a dynamic mic versus a condenser mic, you're going to know what that is. When I say something about transcripts or AI transcripts or uploading to a media host, you're going to know what that is. There is a language that lets people know they are insiders or not. You need to talk to your audience like an insider. There needs to be a problem solution fit. That is number 6. Again, taking it back to the problem. Do you have the solution for it? Is it easy for them to get the solution and use that solution? Okay, good. You're good. Does the problem and solution fit? And also, you're going to need resources. You're going to need time. You're going to need money. You're going to need talent. Are you up for a daily podcast? Yeah, you can do the episodes, but are they going to be good? Are they going to be connecting to people? Are they going to keep people listening and not bore them to death? Not to pick on daily podcasts, but it is hard to keep up the level of quality with a daily podcast. It can't be Monday is great, Tuesday through Friday, not so good. You got to be great all the time. Sometimes it's better to have a weekly podcast. And sometimes when we talk about problem, solution, fit, a daily podcast is going to blow your audience out. Sometimes they only want to hear from you once a week, maybe a couple times a week, maybe less. Once a month is good enough. This is one of the reasons why you really want to know your audience. I've got more thoughts on validating a podcast idea linked at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 221. You want to talk it over with me? Reach out. The way to do that, also linked at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. Relationship advice, part 3. I started February doing, let's say, relationship advice. It's Valentine's month, having a little fun with it. Not necessarily relationship advice with a significant other or a family member, usually relationship advice with your audience. Who's listening to your podcast? How are you relating to them? However, this one is different. Let's talk about your spouse, your significant other. I want to know. Do you discuss podcasting related purchases with your significant other? Personally, I do. But because my wife is in a business, her business is photography, and that is a business where she also needs specialized gear. It's not really a discussion as much as it is letting her know something I need to do my job. Like, hey, I'm going to get a new mic. Here's how much it costs. Get a new compressor. Watch for it. It's going to be delivered today. It's that kind of thing. We keep in touch with each other on this stuff. Not even like a budget thing or even watching for packages thing. It's really just like, hey, how you doing in your creative endeavors? For me, I'm interested in what she does, and I learn a lot from it. She's like, yeah, I'm getting a new softbox. I got to get a speed light. This lens isn't working out. Got to get a new kind of lens. Okay, well, what millimeter is it? I'm learning a lot about photography by talking to her about that. If you've got a spouse that's maybe not that interested in your podcast, and with this said, let me give the disclaimer, don't blow out your spouse by talking about podcasting all the time. Don't overdo this. But when people understand why you're excited about something and you can let them in on what you're doing, that can get them more engaged. And that's your audience, and that's also your spouse when it comes to equipment, when it comes to software, whatever you are doing to create your podcast. I know for my wife, we feel this way about each other. We want to see each other do well. When she does well, I do well. When I do well, she does well. And we are more than excited to support each other in doing well. Your spouse is the same. I say all this because sometimes I hear people say, well, my wife doesn't really get it. It's $500 mic. She doesn't understand why I can't get the $29 one. Educate her a little bit, have the discussion and show up. Don't just spend money. Actually do a podcast. Sometimes these things don't piece together until maybe you're out, let's say. And keep in mind that I'm on broadcast radio, so this is going to happen more to somebody who would be in that position than it would be a podcast maybe, but maybe you've got a local podcast and people say, oh, I've heard of that podcast, or, you never know. And I think that helps people understand what it is that you do, because we are more or less alone. I'm right now in my tricked out closet, 5x8, and it's lonely, man. And my wife doesn't come in here with me. She just sees me walking in a closet. She doesn't really know what I do. I mean, she does, because she used to do a podcast too, but most people wouldn't. Like, oh, it's going in the closet again. And people in your family, it's not just your spouse. It could be your kids. It could be, who knows? They may think the same thing about yours. Bring them in on it. Show up. Do the work. When they see you working hard on it, they're going to want to support it. That's how I have found it work every single time. Yeah? No? Let me know. You can reach out to me. Newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 221. I've also got a funny joke related to this. It is visual. You can see it. Newsletter.bigpodcast.com. Issue number 221. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out with me. Again, if you want to work one-on-one, bigpodcast.com/amp, bigpodcast.com/AMP. It's the audio monetization program. I live and breathe this stuff, man. Would love to work with you on it. You want more of the podcast? This is how to do it. Bigpodcast.com. If you go there, you will find a subscription button. That will give you 3 options. One for iPhone, one for Android, one is an RSS feed. Subscribe however you get your podcast. One click is all it takes. I've got you hooked up. You get every episode of Build a Big Podcast moving forward. Go there now, bigpodcast.com, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.